Hello there, it's Caleb from Yen Off-Road. In our last video we showed you how to locate and drill your holes for your anti-theft light bar bracket. In today's video I'll be showing you how to use our patented stainless steel bolt with our brackets to make theft damn near impossible. And when you're ordering it, there's a few steps you gotta know, so I'll be walking you through that today. But let's get started. So the first bracket I have here is what we refer to as our low bearing bracket or low bracket. This is what your light bar or anything you mount down will be bolted to. The standard bracket that comes with your light bar are cast aluminum. At Yenna, we machine ours out of a solid block of steel. If you watch our video on YouTube, we put these things through a lot of abuse. We bent our 1/2-inch carriage head bolt in our last video, and we still haven't had a bracket fail on us yet. We're not going to be mounting a light bar to our brackets because we're going to be putting it on this stand to show you guys how the anti-theft light bar bolt works. So I'll walk you through the bottom of our brackets here. When you couple them together, you'll notice that your low bracket is machined slightly down than your security bracket. That's so when you tighten your 1/2-inch nut, it exerts a force on your security bracket, coupling them together. This is the pad that comes with your brackets, and you'll notice there's a little raised edge on it. And that's for when we machined our low bearing bracket down, it'll clip in there and not let anything turn. This is the bracket that comes with your light bar, and as you'll notice when you bolt your light bar to it, the bolt's still exposed. With our low bracket, you'll notice when the bolt is set in there and bolted to your light bar, it's recessed in. That is allowing us for this bracket to come in, and it'll just line up, therefore allowing you to still adjust the angle of your light bar, but you can't back it out. I'll split the bracket and I'll show you what's going on inside here. So when you try to back this bolt out, it'll come into contact with this machine surface here, thus allowing you to loosen your light bar to adjust the angle of it, but you still can't get that bolt out. I'll mount this bracket to the stand here. So with your pad, you're going to want to make sure the bump is facing away from your light bar, and you'll notice with these carriage head bolts, there's a square on the top of the head. That'll drop into the square on the bottom of your bracket. Drop this through here, and you'll notice that once your carriage head bolt is in, and you tighten your nut on, it will not spin. In our last video, you're just going to want to thread your nut on a few turns, because after that, you're still going to want to lift your low bracket up to put your security bracket in place. So after you tighten that down, you're going to lift up your low bracket, slide your security bracket into place, make sure it's sitting on your pad correctly. Before you tighten your 1/2-inch nut, you're going to want to make sure your light bar is securely fastened to your low bearing bracket. If there's a space in between there and you tighten up your 1/2-inch bolt, there's going to be no flex pulling that light bar into your bracket. As you tighten up this 1/2-inch bolt, you're going to want to hold the top of your bracket so any rotational force does not get transferred into your light bar. For the next part, we'll take our security bracket off to show you how the bolt works. I'll turn this stand over for you here and give you a better view of the bolt. This is our protective sleeve. I cut it in half with a hacksaw. It took me about 45 minutes. So we cut it in half so we can explain how the bolt works a bit better to you. You'll notice once I slide this half of the sleeve on, this recess here covers your 1/2-inch nut. I'll turn this display for you so it's a little easier to see. You'll take your sleeve, slide it over your bolt. You'll take your internal tooth washer, slide it on there. This is normally a locking nut, but I'm going to use a regular nut, a little easier for us. So you're going to want to thread it on there, get it on a few threads. Take your ratchet, tighten it on down. As you can see, it's a little loose. I've intentionally used too long of a bolt. This bolt is for a 1/4-inch mounting surface, not a 1/8. I'll take the sleeve off now and I'll show you why it rattles. So as it rattles around, you can see that that machined surface is lower than the step in the bolt. If we pick it up a little bit, the washer starts to float. That machined surface is higher than the step on the bolt. If you tighten everything down and it still is rattling, you can just take a few spacers, set them underneath the head of the carriage head bolt, just like so. I've removed the nut. I'm gonna pull the bracket, the bolt, but you can put your shims underneath the bracket, but that just allows someone to get a hacksaw underneath your bracket and cut your bolt. So I've put my shims on the top of my bolt, put it back on in. So now we're gonna be reinstalling our 1/2" nut. Now that we've shimmed our bolt, you notice that the machine step in our sleeve is above the machine step in our bolt. So now after you tighten the bolt, it'll be pushing down on the collar and it will not rattle. So when you go online, you'll see that there are different size bolts for different thicknesses of mounting surfaces. I've taken the shims out and I've added this plate because this bolt's made for a 1/4 inch surface. As you can see, the step in the bolt is below the machine surface in the collar. If we put this washer on and we put a bolt on there, it'll pull that sleeve down into your mounting surface so it won't rattle. So now we got a full protective sleeve. We'll set it over our 1/2" nut there. We'll take our internal tooth lock washer, set it on in there. And then for our demonstrations, we've been using a normal nut. You're gonna use a lock nut that comes with your package. All right, so I've tightened down the bolt most of the way, but it's still rattling around, left it a bit loose. So when you're tightening it down, you're gonna wanna tighten it up just a little bit. See if your sleeve still turns. Still turns, yep. So we're gonna tighten it down just a little bit more. Perfect. And now any would-be thief can sit here and spin this all day long. You'll install your tamper-proof machine screw, and as you can see, there's little indents in it, and your oversized washer. Now that I've got it started, I'm going to spin it around here for you so you can get a better view. I'll tighten this tamper-proof machine screw in, and what that oversized washer has done is allowed you not to get your socket in to unscrew your nut. The final step will be to stop access to this machine screw. There's 1 of 2 ways you can do that. You can get some JB Weld and fill in the hole till it's flush. If you do decide to go the epoxy route and you filled that in, it's going to be underneath your bumper. It's going to be pretty hard to get at. The person who's stealing it's going to be there for a while. If you want a more permanent route, we offer this cap. If you decide to go with the protective cap, you're just going to want to set it on top. You're just going to want to lightly hit it down with a hammer until it bottoms out. So I'm not going to pound that cap in because we want to use this display for more videos. We know this is a permanent mounting system, but if there was a way to uninstall it, a thief would do that too. So with the lifespan of current lights, you'll probably end up selling your vehicle before you ever want to remove it. But if you ever do damage or want to upgrade your bar, you can give us a call. We'll give you a few tips we learned through testing, but I'll be very honest, it's very hard. At the end of the day, nothing ever is 100% theft proof. Stay tuned for more videos about how we're going to put our Vienna brackets up against the cast aluminum brackets. When the cast aluminum brackets fail, we're just going to keep on beating on the Viennas. I doubt they're going to break.